Every single day, the average person makes over 200 food-related decisions. Most of them take less than 3 seconds. And according to researchers who have spent decades tracking what those decisions do to the human body, those 3-second choices are quietly shortening the lives of millions of people. Not through one catastrophic meal, not through a single bad habit, but through a slow, invisible biological erosion that science is only now beginning to fully measure. The food industry has built a machine that generates trillions of dollars annually. And buried inside that machine is something most consumers will never read on a label: the engineered destruction of human longevity. This is not a coincidence. This is architecture, and it has been running, largely unchallenged, for more than half a century. The system was built to keep you sick. The modern food supply did not accidentally become dominated by ultra-processed products. It was designed to be. Food corporations employ teams of scientists, flavor chemists, texture engineers, and neurological researchers whose sole job is to manipulate the bliss point of food. That is the precise combination of sugar, fat, and salt that makes the human brain override its own satiety signals. The goal is not to nourish. The goal is to create compulsive consumption. Ultra-processed foods now account for more than half of all calories consumed in the United States, and a growing share across every westernized nation. These products, packaged snacks, fast food, sweetened beverages, instant noodles, processed meats, go far beyond simple cooking. They are engineered products built from industrial substances rarely found in any home kitchen: hydrogenated oils, high-fructose corn syrup, carboxymethylcellulose, polysorbate 80, artificial dyes derived from petroleum. These are not food ingredients in any traditional sense. They are chemical agents introduced into the food supply, and science has now confirmed what many researchers feared: they are reshaping human biology at the cellular level. The gut microbiome, that complex ecosystem of trillions of bacteria living inside every person. Research has demonstrated that common synthetic emulsifiers found in everything from ice cream to salad dressings profoundly disrupt the intestinal microbiota. They break down the mucus layer that lines the gut wall, compromise the intestinal barrier, and trigger low-grade systemic inflammation. That inflammation does not stay in the gut. It travels. It reaches the brain, the cardiovascular system, the liver, and the metabolic organs. It accelerates aging at the molecular level, shortening the very telomeres that protect chromosomal integrity. And because the damage is gradual and symptom-free in the early stages, the person eating the food has no idea it is happening. The food industry knows this. The documents exist. The internal research has been conducted. And yet the products remain on shelves, in school cafeterias, in hospital vending machines, and in the hands of children who have never been told what they are actually consuming, marketed with language like wholesome, natural, and family-friendly. The biology of acceleration: here is what the science says and why it changes everything. A landmark analysis examining data from over 1 million people across 18 separate studies found that the highest consumers of ultra-processed food carried a 15% greater risk of dying from any cause compared to those who ate the least. A separate major study tracking more than 500,000 American adults for nearly 23 years found that people with the highest ultra-processed food intake were 10% more likely to die during that period, particularly from heart disease and diabetes. One independent modeling study estimated that up to 14% of all premature deaths in the United States and the United Kingdom could be directly attributed to ultra-processed food consumption. But mortality statistics, as alarming as they are, still fail to capture the full picture. Because it is not just about dying sooner. It is about aging faster while still alive. Researchers at Monash University made a discovery that should have been front-page news around the world. For every 10% increase in ultra-processed food consumption, the gap between a person's biological age and their actual chronological age widens by 4 months. That means someone consuming a heavily processed diet for 20 years could be biologically aging 3 to 5 years faster than their birth certificate suggests. The body is wearing out ahead of schedule. The organs are deteriorating on an accelerated timeline, and the person living in that body may feel perfectly fine right up until they are not. This is the mechanism the food industry does not want explained clearly. The metabolic damage caused by ultra-processed foods extends far beyond weight gain. The result is chronic hyperinsulinemia, a state of persistently elevated insulin that drives cellular insulin resistance even in people who are not obese. Industrial fructose, saturated across sweetened beverages and packaged snacks, is processed directly in the liver and promotes fat production and systemic inflammatory signaling. Artificial food colorants trigger DNA damage and colonic inflammation in experimental studies. Preservatives like sodium nitrate generate compounds linked to certain cancers. The intestinal barrier weakens. Bacteria that should remain contained inside the gut begin migrating into the bloodstream, igniting immune responses that never fully resolve. This is the machinery of accelerated aging. Scientists now describe ultra-processed food consumption as a primary driver of systemic metabolic dysfunction, one that operates independently of total caloric intake, body weight, or other lifestyle factors. The damage accumulates silently, compounding year after year, visible only in the biomarkers that most people never think to measure. It is packaged in bright colors. It is sold at checkout counters. It is subsidized by governments that simultaneously fund chronic disease treatment. The villain in this story is not one rogue corporation. It is an entire system built around extracting maximum revenue from maximum consumption, with the health consequences quietly externalized onto the people doing the consuming. The protocol that proves escape is possible. Billionaire biohacker Brian Johnson did not simply decide to eat better.
How would you do it? You would go about measuring everything you could in the body, trying to assess scientific literature, measure again, and just go through this process, trying to figure your way out. What can we do today?
He built an entire scientific operation around dismantling the damage that modern food culture creates. His Project Blueprint protocol, developed with a team of more than 30 medical professionals, treats food as biological data. Every calorie is measured, every meal is designed, and every ingredient is chosen for one explicit purpose: to slow the rate of biological aging. Johnson eliminated ultra-processed foods entirely. He removed added sugars, seed oils, alcohol, and anything engineered for palatability over function. In their place, he built meals around nutrient-dense plant foods, over 70 pounds of vegetables consumed monthly, along with extra virgin olive oil, targeted supplementation, and strict time-restricted eating within a 6 to 8 hour daily window. The results have been dramatic and measurable. His markers of systemic inflammation have been virtually eliminated. His telomere length has increased. His biological age, measured across dozens of organs, now tracks years younger than his actual age. Johnson himself has stated that the rate of his biological aging has been slowed significantly based on the data his team continues to collect. And when journalist Nick Tucker followed the Blueprint protocol for just 30 days, his biological age dropped 3 years, he lost 20 pounds, his blood triglycerides fell by 77%, and his harmful LDL cholesterol dropped by 27% 1 month. Not a lifetime of discipline, 1 month of removing ultra-processed food and replacing it with intentional, science-backed nutrition. This is the protocol that the food industry cannot afford to normalize. Not because it requires expensive supplements or rare ingredients, gains are achievable at little to no extra cost by prioritizing sleep, basic movement, and simply avoiding the engineered products that dominate the modern food environment. The real disruption is the mindset shift. Treating every calorie as something that must earn its place in the body. Recognizing that the food industry's product is not sustenance, it is dependency. And that the single most powerful longevity intervention available to any human being today requires no prescription, no clinic, and no medical insurance. It requires only the decision to stop letting a trillion-dollar industry make biological choices on the body's behalf. The system profits most when people stay sick long enough to need treatment, but not sick enough to stop buying products. That is not a theory, it is an economic incentive structure that explains why ultra-processed food lobbying consistently outpaces public health policy reform. The food industry does not need people dead. It needs them dependent. It needs them inflamed, metabolically compromised, and reaching for the next engineered hit that temporarily silences the body's distress signals while accelerating the underlying damage. The science of longevity has identified the enemy. It does not wear a lab coat or carry a weapon. Engineered to be irresistible, and it has been quietly shortening human lifespans for decades. The biohackers have found the exit. The question is whether the rest of the world is willing to use it.